Hey everyone, Jake here for Extreme Terrain, and in this video we're taking a look at the Form Lighting sequential LED projector headlights with black housings and clear lenses fitting 2021 and newer Broncos. If you're tired of poor visibility, or maybe you just don't care for the style of your factory headlights, these are an excellent way to get some updated good looks and improved lighting performance on your Bronco. They pack a ton of cool features and some serious firepower into an almost OEM looking package, making for a really easy and complete update to your rig. We get a lot of different headlights through the doors here, but these actually really stood out to me for a couple of reasons. Perhaps the most obvious difference in these versus your stock headlights are the quad projectors. So you get the two on top here that function as your main beam, with the bottom two jumping in to create the high beam. So all four of them are going to light up. So that is obviously going to make for some serious light output, and it's especially going to put the factory halogen lights on the Bronco to shame. These offer a really clean, bright light with a sharp cutoff, high intensity, and a much wider beam pattern as you would expect from projectors. Now all that to say, you're going to be able to see much more of the road more clearly than you would with your factory lights, even the factory LEDs on the Bronco. Now surrounding those are some LED strips. You get one around the outer edge here and one straight through the center. Now both of those together will serve as your daytime running lights, and these inner ones will serve as your turn signals. And cool thing about them is that you can select what you want them to do when they're running in daytime running light mode. So they can light up a nice diffused white, or you can have them light up in amber if you want that more Raptor-esque style. Now the center bar here again is going to function as your turn signal, and it performs a little sweep across, so you've technically got sequential turn signals, which personally I think is still pretty cool. Now as soon as that signal is off, these are going to switch right back to that solid daytime running light. Now these LED strips also have another trick up their sleeve, and that is a startup sequence. So these are going to perform this cool two-stage chasing sequence when you unlock your rig or go to start it up. It just adds that little extra something that's going to set your Bronco apart from the others. Now combine all of that with the black housing and the clear lens, and I think you get a really slick look with these. Now these are going to make your Bronco's front end look a bit more aggressive, but I still think that they work really well with the factory styling, and they almost look like they could have been an OEM option, which would have been on your Bronco right off the showroom floor. Construction here is also first rate and mimics closely a factory setup. You get OE quality materials for the housing, plus standard polycarbonate for the lenses over top. Now the LEDs inside are all automotive grade emitters with breather vents as well, so it should keep them cool, which will extend their already long lifespan. Plus these are fully DOT, SAE, and FMV SS108 compliant, which means for you that they are fully street legal, provided you have them aimed properly, which you can easily do thanks to the integrated adjusters on the back here. Everything is plug and play as well, so these are just going to plug right in place of your factory lights, but we'll talk more about that in a moment. Pricing for this set is going to come in at about $1,600. Now that's not what you would call inexpensive, but you do get a lot for your money here. These are priced as a premium option, and it shows in the construction and the features. And if you've got the room in your budget, these offer a lot of good stuff and stellar lighting output for your money. So if you've got the room, again, these are definitely worth the investment. Installation is going to get a 1 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and the job should take you about 1 hour to complete. Now like I mentioned earlier, these are a totally plug and play install. Everything is ready to go for you right out of the box. Just a matter of undoing your old lights and swapping these into their place. They're going to use all the factory mounting locations, and they're just going to plug right in using the factory harnesses. So all that said, let's head out to the install bay now and we'll show you what's involved.
For this install, you need a 3/8 ratchet, 3/8 extension, a 10 and 8mm socket, and a clip removal tool. All right, today we're gonna be installing some headlights on our Bronco. First, we're gonna watch a quick video how to uninstall stock ones, and we're gonna come back here to install the new ones.
All right, first thing we're gonna need to do to get our headlights off is remove this upper cover here on our radiator. To do that, we're gonna need our trim removal tool to remove a series of push pins that hold it in place. So let's go ahead and get that done. All right, so we've got 9 of these push pins that have to be removed. So we're just gonna slip the edge of our removal tool underneath the top portion, lift it up, and then we can pull the rest of it out. All right, once you got your push pins removed, it's probably a good idea to go ahead and remove this inlet here for your intake, just because it kind of hangs up on the cover. So to do that, we're just going to lift it up and back. Once that's done, we can go ahead and lift our cover out of place. Now we've got 4 bolts here in the front, right behind the front edge of the grill. We're going to take those out using our 10mm socket. Now, depending on your model of the Bronco, you may have a front camera and a washer for that camera. If you do, you'll need to pull this out gently so that you can disconnect the wire for the camera and also disconnect the hose for the washer. So we're just going to pull this out slightly. Now we'll disconnect our camera here simply by pushing in on the release lever and pulling it out. Now we can go ahead and disconnect our washer hose. To do that, we've got one clip here. Just grab it on both sides and pop it off. We've got another clip here that attaches it to the wiring harness. So you just need to reach under, push that clip in and disconnect it. Then using our trim removal tool, unpop the Christmas tree connector here, and then finally we can disconnect our hose from the washer at the bottom. Now you want to be a little careful when you're pulling this off. Make sure that you don't break anything because it is plastic. And now we can go ahead and get our grill out of the way. Now the next thing we have to do, because there is a bolt at the bottom of our fender trim here, so that needs to come off before we can get to that other bolt. In order to get to this off, we have to take our fender flares off. It's a really easy process, no tools are required. There are 5 clips on the underside of our fender flare here. So we'll need to unclip those. It's a simple lever. I'll show you that when we get it off because it's hard to get the camera up in here. So we'll go ahead and take that off, and then we can take off our front piece. Now, once you've got the levers undone, simply pull it away from the fender. Now, here are the levers that we were talking about that have to be released in order to remove the fender flare. It's a simple lever, back and forth, all you have to do to be able to pull this out. Now, if you're replacing both headlights like we are, you'll need to remove the fender flare from the other side as well before we take off this trim piece. Now we can remove this trim piece across the front of the grill simply by grabbing the edge of it here and prying it away. There's no bolts holding this in, so it's just a matter of pulling and detaching it. Now we'll do the same thing on the other side and get that out of the way. Now this is the bolt that was behind that trim piece that we just removed. So we'll go ahead and take that out using our 8mm socket. Now we've got 2 10mm bolts at the top of our headlight, one here and one here. We'll go ahead and take those out with our 10mm socket. Now right next to this top bolt here on the outside of the headlight, there is a push pin that needs to be removed. So we'll use our trim removal tool, get underneath that, and pop it out. Now we can go ahead and remove our headlight. So we'll grab the bottom of it here and the top and just pull it away. Now once you've got it pulled away from the vehicle, we can go ahead and disconnect our harness here simply by pushing in on the black release tab and pulling it out. And now you can repeat that process for the other light.
All right, first thing we need to do is just plug in our adapter harness to our factory harness. Just a quick thing. We have 2 connectors here that if you want a white DRL, you connect them we're going to leave them separated for now to have an amber DRL. So now we're going to take our adapter harness. All right, so we're going to plug that into our factory connector, and then we can plug this into our new headlight, like so. And we can put our headlight into position. All right, now we're going to start at the bottom of our headlight and install our 8mm bolt. Tighten that down with our ratchet. All right, now we have our two 10mm bolts at the top and our push clip. Put our push clip in now. Thread our two 10mm bolts in. All right, then we can tighten them down with our ratchet. All right, now you can go ahead and repeat those same steps for the other headlight. All right, now you can go ahead and repeat those same steps for the other headlight. All right, now we can put our lower painted piece on. We're gonna hook it onto the side here first. Line up our center pin in the grill here. Bring it up over our other side. And then tap all of our pins in. Secure it in place. All right, now we're gonna put our fender flares back on. We have them lined up correctly. We can just snap it into place. It's gonna be hard to see. We're just gonna go underneath and turn all of those handles and lock them in place. All right, you can do the same thing for the other fender flare. All right, now we're ready to put our grill in. We just need to reattach our washer line. All right, so we're gonna plug our washer line back into the nozzle. We have our clip here. Push that back in. Bring this up. This clip will go over the electrical wire. And then we have a clip here. All right, now we can get our grill into position. And push on all of our clips. And then we have our electrical connector up here for our camera. All right, we can just plug our connector back in here. And then now we can install our 4 10mm bolts we took out of the top. All right, we're gonna thread them all in by hand first. We'll grab our ratchet with our 10mm socket and tighten them down. All right, and now we can put our radiator cover back into place and reinstall all of our plastic push pins. All right, and then we can put our air intake back into place also, and then reinstall all of our plastic push pins. All right, and that wraps up our install of our Form Lighting sequential LED projector headlights with a black housing and clear lens for our 2021 and newer Bronco. And remember, for everything Bronco, keep it right here at extremeterrain.com.